All right, guys, Guidepost 36. Most of us are familiar with the notion of the arc of the moral universe. We've heard Barack Obama use that in speeches. He was quoting Martin Luther King Jr. Turns out MLK was quoting Theodore Parker, who was a preacher abolitionist, wrote in a set of sermons that were published in a book in 1853, so 8 years before the beginning of the Civil War. He in one of his sermons, he said, look at the facts of the world. You see a continual and progressive triumph of the right, by which he means the good. That is what is best. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. From what I see, I am sure it bends toward justice. Now, that image has been a source of inspiration for people working for justice for a long time, because sometimes it feels like justice is not arising for us, and sometimes we can feel pretty hopeless. I want to add to that image something from this book by Jon Stewart. No, not that Jon Stewart, John, right? He's an Australian scientist of some kind, but also reveals himself to be a bit of a philosopher, in which he argues that this is evolution's arrow, the direction of evolution and the future of humanity. In the introduction, he says, the emergence of organisms who are conscious of the direction of evolution is one of the most important steps in the evolution of life on any planet. I don't know how many planets he's familiar with, but once organisms discover the direction of evolution, they can use it to guide their own evolution. If they, by which he means us, know where evolution is going, we can work out what will produce success in the future and use this to plan how they will evolve. How are we going to evolve? Can we use our understanding of the direction in which history is moving to help us figure out how it is that we're going to show up? So I want to suggest to you that there are at least three vectors that I've identified, sort of our characteristics of the direction in which evolution is moving. And for Sunday night, I want to kind of try these on and see if you observe what I'm observing and if this makes sense in terms of how we structure our common life. The first one is in terms of governance. We think that governing requires that somebody be in charge, and so we elect people to hold office, and they then make decisions on our behalf. But the understanding of governance is moving away from supremacy and towards a kind of distributed decision-making and mutuality, us participating together in making decisions. The second has to do with what are our understandings of what is valuable, what is beautiful, and we're moving away from having ideals of perfection towards an appreciation of diversity. The greater the diversity, the richer the experience. And the third has to do with how do we think about things? What are the cognitive maps that we use? And we're moving away from common sense and simple solutions towards an appreciation of complexity and systems thinking. So around these three vectors, it's my observation that we seem to be moving. I want to see what you think. I hope you can join us Sunday evening. All right, take care.